How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to get a little sad today. We're going to be getting into fights that really just make me mad and irritate me and overall make me hate this sport. In a way, not that I don't like the matchups, it's just that I know I'm going to feel bad after the fight, and most likely during the fight as well. Let's get right into it. The reason why I made this video, flyweight. Why is Moreno and Erceg? Why is this a matchup? Why did we need to see this? I just know what's going to happen now. I love Brandon Moreno. I love Brandon Moreno. That was my dog. Erceg, that's my boy too. And now I got to see him. He's going to lose this fight. I'm already reserving myself for this. I want him to prove me wrong. Erceg, if you can, prove me wrong, bud. But I don't get it. Why is this the matchup? I get that if you're going to have Brandon Moreno on there, this is realistically the only matchup really left, I guess. But why? Why? If Brandon Moreno isn't fighting anyone on a win streak, why have him on there then? You know, I get it's in Mexico City. And to be fair, in Mexico City, Brandon Moreno did shit down his leg, but Erceg is going to die. He's going to die against Brandon Moreno. And it's just, I'm going to be so depressed seeing the flyweight who was promised in Steve Erceg. The man who made it arguably the most competitive with Pantoja in the modern era besides Moreno himself. Just get absolutely fucking manhandled by this Lego-eating motherfucker. I love Moreno, but God, dude. Erceg, he beat Schnell. He beat Matt Schnell, and now he has to Pantoja, KKF, and fucking Moreno back to back to back? What the fuck is this? His next fight, they're gonna bring Askar Askarov back and fucking they're gonna fucking have him come back and date and fucking return against Erceg, dude. It's pissing me off. This fight did not need to happen. Because here's the thing. I don't mind Moreno winning. I love Moreno, but Erceg, he's made his way into my heart. This guy, he's really shown skills at flyweight. But does he deserve it? No. And is he going to lose? Most likely. Let's be honest. Moreno looked like a savant against Amir Albazi. I just know what's gonna happen. Okay, I know. We move to bantamweight. Another main event upcoming. Cejudo versus Yadong. I can be depressed both ways for this fight. Lil Einstein getting either brutally chinned by Song Yadong, which would honestly be kind of depressing to see. Cejudo it would just be another depressing moment to end his career. He should have stayed retired, if I'm being honest. And then, but if Song Yadong loses, listen, I'm a firm believer that Song Yadong is a fraud. But that's a story for another day. But that'll also suck because it's like, well, what do you do with Song now? He lost to a 38-year-old fucking Henry Cejudo. It's kind of just like it's only a win matchup if Song Yadong wins. Because if Cejudo loses, he ain't doing shit for the title. This is kind of like Song has to win. In this, like, he has to. The only good outcome from this fight is that if Cejudo won, we would maybe see him versus Sean, which we wouldn't, by the way. We wouldn't see that fight. There's no way in hell Henry Cejudo and Sean O'Malley are ever going to fight. Deal with it. Dude, it's a lose-lose matchup. It's only a win if Song Yadong wins. But he can lose. We might see Henry Cejudo finally become himself and actually grapple. I don't know. I think it's a depressing matchup when you think about the actual extracurriculars of it. Cejudo losing 3 in a row. Yadong losing. Would that be 3 in a row for Song? I don't think it would. No. Because he beat, what's his face? Ricky Simon or Chris Gutierrez before the Piotr Jan fight, yeah. But still, it'd be another loss for Song Yadong, which is kind of sad. We move to featherweight. Ugh. Topuria, Volkanovski II. Do I even really need to explain this one? Volkanovski is going to get chinned again if this is the matchup that they do make. It seems like Ilya versus Makhachev is a matchup that the matchmakers are trying to make right now. I love that fight. I think that fight would be really fucking cool. But if they don't go with it, this is the matchup we are going to get, ultimately, is the Volkanovski rematch. Which, the worst part about this fight is that Volkanovski's going to look really fucking good. He's going to look super good in the first 2 rounds. Or as long as it lasts. He's going to be outstriking Ilya for most of it. And then we're going to see him get put against the fence, and we're all going to be like, oh, no. And then right as we all say no in unison, we're going to see fucking Volkanovski get golden Freddy'd and fucking fold in on himself, and Ilya Topuria sipping from his little teacup. And Volkanovski's like, doing my head in. I needed to fight. And then we're going to just be like, well, why'd you fight, bud? You don't need to fight Ilya. This matchup, I hate it. I don't hate it. It's just that I don't think it should happen again. We don't need to see it. I think Volkanovski should get a bounce-back fight. And a bounce-back fight for him would be like fucking Movsar Evloev or Diego Lopez. Matchups that I actually can see him winning. There is no way he beats Ilya Topuria. It's kind of a, what's eventually going to happen. It's like, it's like, when it's hard to rewatch fights because it's going to happen? Like, after an event is over, you're like, well, why would I watch it? I know what happens at this time and what happens at this time. That's what this fight's going to be, but, like, live, watching it. Like, well, he's going to catch him. Oh, he caught him. Oh, Volkanovski's dead. Oh, his gloves are off. Oh, he's retiring. Fuck! And then we're all going to be sad. See? That's the point. This matchup is fucking depressing. We move to lightweight. Sorry for being sad. This is just a video. I had no other ideas going around in my fucking noggin. Lightweight, like I said, this one's not depressing in a sense. It's just Gaethje or Hooker, they're just going to receive a multitudinous amount of brain damage, and it makes me a little depressed that no matter what happens in this fight, the next fight these guys have, they will not look the same as they have. Especially Hooker. Especially Gaethje or Hooker. It just depends on who wins. I think Gaethje will most likely win this fight. But they're going to beat the ever-living shit out of each other, in my personal opinion, for as long as it lasts. It could last 1 round. I think that Gaethje is a bit better than Hooker. But Hooker can definitely land at range with his long-ass frame. Maybe throw up a couple of fucking head kicks in there, yeah, but he looks like a fucking hammerhead shark, this guy. Yeah, it's just depressing when you look at it and you're like, well, Gaethje's already fumbling his words and is kind of a moron. If Hooker is actually able to... If Hooker knocks him out, it'll be his last fight. Most likely will be Gaethje's last fight, which is very depressing to think about. But if Gaethje knocks out Hooker... that motherfucker ain't retiring. He's going to fight fucking 5 more times and is just going to get most likely worse and worse from then on. I think if Gaethje wins, it'll be a brutal fucking beatdown. If Hooker wins, it'll be from him kind of catching Gaethje. I think Gaethje can beat Hooker up worse than Hooker will be able to beat him up. I think if Hooker wins, it'll most likely be a flash in the pan type of moment. I think if Gaethje wins, it'll be a buildup of damage. We've seen it happen to Hooker before, like in the Poirier fight. It happened in the Barboza fight. It happened. But yeah, I think we're just going to be looking at our screens like, the ref should have stepped in a little early there. Oh, he's dying. Ref, he's dying. And then we're just going to be like, well, fuck. And then we get to see Alex Pereira and Mark Renard. That card's going to be sick. We move to welterweight. Again, a dual threat of depression. Gilbert Burns, Michael Morales. I almost said Marlon Moraes. Oh boy, we know how we feel about Marlon Moraes. Terrible gas tank, but y'all know I love Michael Morales. That's the dog. That's the boy. I am going to be depressed if he beats Gilbert Burns, because Gilbert Burns is a chill guy. And if Michael wins, it'll most likely be a finish. And I don't really want to see I don't want to see Gilbert Burns get finished again. because then I'll have to see him most likely cry in the octagon again. But if Michael loses, I'll be even a little bit more sad, because that's the homie. All right, that's the boy. All right, we'll see what happens. But a dual threat. Anthony Smith, talking about, he's a dual threat. Like, he's better than Jon Jones on paper when you really think about it. Would look at the X and the O's. If Gilbert loses, that's a crazy amount of depression, because it'll most likely be by finish. If Michael Morales loses, dude lost to fucking 39-year-old Gilbert Burns. He's 25. He's cooked. No, he's not cooked, but it'll be a small step back for him. But yeah, we move to middleweight. Oh boy. The main event this weekend, Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodriguez. I'm not going to leak my pick because I'm still on the fence about it. I do still need to watch some film and look at the actual intricacies of Gregory Rodriguez and see if he does leave as many openings as I remember he does. But Cannonier is 40. I think soon to be 41, if I'm not mistaken. If he loses to Gregory Rodriguez, I firmly believe it'll be by a brutal fucking knockout. Because Gregory Rodriguez does have a shit ton of power. He does. But he's also kind of chinny. So it'll either be a really depressing moment where Gregory Rodriguez just beats the shit out of Jared Cannonier and finishes him, or it'll be a euphoric moment almost, seeing Jared Cannonier finally bounce back. Because the only way this fight ends is most likely by KO. Because both of these guys take shots in different ways, if you get what I'm saying. They both start doing chicken dances here and there. But I also like RoboCop, so it's also kind of sad to see him lose as well. But I'd be more sad seeing Jared Cannonier lose, which is, in my opinion, I'll still have to look at it because I think Jared's an underdog, which makes me almost want to pick him, is a more likely outcome. But we'll see what happens. We move to light heavyweight. UFC London sees the return of Jan Błachowicz as he takes on Carlos Ulberg. I have said that Carlos Ulberg is a fraud. I do believe he beats Jan Błachowicz. Jan is 41, coming off double shoulder surgeries. Hasn't fought since the Alex Bahia fight in 2023. Skipped the entirety of 2024. Didn't even get a matchup booked. Yeah, I think this is going to be a depressing fight to watch. I think Jan will look slower than usual. He's slow usually, but he'll look even slower. He still have a little bit of craft to him, but I think Ulberg will win, and it pisses me off because this is a fight that'll get Ulberg like a title shot, and that's the reason why it depresses me, is because I'll have to act like this guy is high level a bit longer, which I don't really think he is. I think that he's a fraud in the waiting. Not a fraud, but not as good as everyone says he is. Okay? But yeah, I think Błachowicz sadly gets, most likely gets finished, which kind of sucks. Not finished, but Ulberg, I don't know if he can counter Błachowicz in the way that he's able to counter other people. I think it'll be like a little bit more of a more definite performance than what he looked against Volkanovski, if you get what I'm saying. It'll be like competitive early, and throughout, like, Błachowicz might have moments, but I think for the most part, Ulberg will be controlling the fight with his range and his jabs and counter left or check left hooks. But yeah, we move to heavyweight. Now, this is different from all the other ones because this fight, I don't think happens. Jones versus Aspinall. This fight is depressing in the sense that I don't think it's going to happen, and that pisses me off and makes me sad because I want to see what happens when Jon Jones steps in there with Tom Aspinall. And the thing that makes me more sad and more mad is that people talk about this fight like it's a nightmare for like Jon Jones has no way of winning. I think Jones can win. That's the thing that pisses me off, is that the way that Jones fans talk about it is like, well, why would he ruin his legacy? This doesn't fucking ruin your legacy, bub. Alright? You're fighting a 31-year-old contender who, right now, as we see it, looks to be one of the best heavyweights of all fucking time already, with the way he's finishing these fucking guys. The toppest level of the modern heavyweights, he's fucking dusting them in a minute. If you lose to that guy, it's not that fucking bad, all right? You lost to fucking what'll soon be, eventually be, one of the greatest heavyweights to ever step foot in the fucking octagon. All right? And it just, I'm more mad. This would be more of fights that make me pissed, actually. This is depressed video. This is a depression video because most of these matchups make me sad because of the outcomes. This fight pisses me off because I know it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, then I'll probably be depressed because I want Aspinall to win. And if he doesn't win, we'll see Jones go, bah! And then, I'm going to go beat my wife. And then he'll just disappear into the sunset. So, yeah. These are matchups that, right now, on paper, somewhat make me sad. Somewhat, I am a little concerned about the outcomes, health-wise for fighters and my overall fan value of the sport. Some of my boys got fights coming up. But yeah, this was a little upload I thought I'd put out there for you guys. I kind of just like running on fumes right now. I got like no ideas. I'm kind of just like throwing shit at the wall to see if it sticks at the moment. But yeah, I'll see you guys with my picks and breakdown for UFC Vegas 102, Cannonier Rodriguez, most likely Thursday or Friday, depending on when I'm able to get that fully locked in. I'll see you guys in that video. Peace.